Shabbat Shalom, friends.
Shabbat Shalom.
It is wonderful to see you on this beautiful April evening. I hope you guys were able to embrace this heat wave as well as embrace the air conditioning. It's going to cool down a little bit. It's going to be like 59 on Monday. Closer? Oh, okay. Hello.
Switch.
There we go. Switch. I'm learning new things every day. Okay, so,
Still not talking.
I gotta talk, and it's off.
We're like Laurel and Hardy a little bit.
So I promised Andrew that I would make like 60 mistakes between now and tomorrow. That was like 6 right there, buddy. So we are so glad that you guys are here with us this evening. And we have a lot of guests this evening because Andrew is becoming a bar mitzvah. And Andrew, do you want your mom or dad to introduce all the family that's here for your bar mitzvah this weekend? Mom, Dad, you choose. Mom, okay. Mom has been declared the person to introduce everybody.
Where's everybody from?
New York, Philadelphia, D.C.
Wonderful.
Thank you for bringing the warm weather.
And Vincent, do you want to introduce your group?
Hi, everybody. This is our folks from the Trinity Presbyterian Church, Union Avenue. Thank you for having us.
So their pastor, Vincent, and I did clinical pastoral education about 15 years ago and have maintained our friendship over the years, and he brings a group every once in a while. We're happy to have them here this evening.
It's wonderful that all of us are together. So at this time, I'd like to invite everybody to stand up, wish each other a Shabbat Shalom, and then we'll transition to our words from the Psalms of Hine Matov.
That's right.
Do you have the padding for the Shir?
No, I have at home. I have like a bracelet. Do my exercise. Okay, we should probably sing. Shall we? Ine matovu manayim shevet kulam gam yachad. Ine matovu manayim
טוב ומה נעים, שבת כולם גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת כולם גם יחד.
So we are going to continue with words of Shir Hadash, our new song. And it's always wonderful to be able to have people back in the sanctuary singing and sharing their voices and adding their voice to our new song, our songs of Shabbat and our songs of togetherness. So we're going to continue on page 648.
Which is in the back of the prayer book.
Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz. Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash. Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz. Shiru Hadash. Sing unto God all the earth a new song. I will sing unto God a new song. Sing unto God and we'll all sing along. All the earth a new song unto God. Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz. Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash. I will sing unto God a new song.
We welcome Shabbat with the lighting of the Shabbat candles on page 100 and 120, 121, and I invite up Andrew's mom, Lana, to join us on the bima.
O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives. Bless all who enter the sanctuary, in need all who bring the offerings of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love.
They take a while.
They are not trick handles.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
There we go. So this Shabbat is also known as Shabbat Hagadol, the Great Shabbat. And it's typically the Shabbat in which the rabbi gives a very, 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 very long sermon about how to prepare for Passover. So Andrew, we will be done about 11 o'clock tonight, just to let you know. But one of the great things about Shabbat HaGadol is it allows us to get into the mindset of this Passover festival, this festival of freedom. And I think that one of the greatest freedoms that we have been given as a Jewish people is the freedom to have Shabbat, a gift, a blessing for us to take this moment and just breathe, to take this moment and have the world just stop a little bit, for us to slow down, for us to feel connected to one another, for us to be able to experience the world with awe and wonder. With that in mind, we greet the Shabbat bride with words of Lecha Adonai on page 138, 100. What did I say, Lecha Adonai?
You did.
Well, you know, we're jumping to the Torah service. So
Here you go. Andrew, are you keeping track now?
Yeah, you gotta keep a score. Dude. Lecha Dodi, we welcome the Shabbat bride. What verses, Kater, before I...
We are singing 1, 2, 5, and 9.
We're singing 1, 2, 5, and 9. Did you know that? 138 and 139. 138, 139.
לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. שמע וזכור בדיבור אחד, ישמענו אל המיוחד. אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשמו תפארת ולתחילה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי מקור הברכה מראש מקדם נסוכם, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, כי בהורך קומי הורי, אורי, שדברי, כבוד אדוני אלייך נגלה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. בואי ושלום, עטרת בלם, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabla. We continue with Mizmor Shir, which you can find on page 140. Mizmor Shir liyom haShabbat, tov lehodot l'Adonai. Mizmor Shir liyom haShabbat, uzamer l'shimcha elyon. להגיד בבוקר חסדך ואמונתך בלילות, עלי עשור ועלי נבל, עלי היגיון וכינון. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, וזמר לשמך עליון. כי שימחתני אדוני בפועלך, במעשה ידיך רנן. מה גדלו מעשיך אדוני, מאוד עמקו מחשבותיך. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, וזמר לשמך עליון. And both that Lecha Dodi and the Mizmor Shir that we just sang is by the composer, cantor Natalie Young, and she'll be with us here in June, on June 10th, for our Friday night service. So we're starting to sing some of her music so people will get familiar with it.
We continue with the Chatzi Kaddish on page 144. And at this time, I invite up Andrew to lead us in that prayer.
Yitgadol ve'yitgadash Shemei Rabbah. Amen. Ba'al Mahdivurach Hirute Vayamli Malhute Bahayechon Uvyomechon Ufayedecho Bet Yisrael Bagala Uvizman Kariv Ve'imeru. Amen. Hey Shmei Rabba Mavara Le'alam Olal Me'al Maya Yitbara Ve'yishtaba Vitfa'ar Vitrama Vitnase Ve'yitadar Vitala Shemede Kudesha Barehu Le'elam mihor berhuta veshirata tushbehata v'nechemata da'amirama ve'imeru. Amen.
Thank you. We rise together for Baruch, page 146.
ya la la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Barechu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Ya la la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la.
Please be seated. So while this reading that I'm about to share with you is one connected to our prayer of creation, the Mariv Aravim, I also am reminded or think about these words in the vein of Passover. Now imagine you are an Israelite and behind you are Pharaoh and the chariots quickly rushing after you. And then in front of you is the Sea of Reeds. The Sea of Reeds has been split, and you see hope and possibility in front of you, and you see fear behind you. But both present that sense of anxiety. So this reading kind of reminds me of what that place might have been for the Israelites. Page 149. This is an hour of change. Within it we stand uncertain on the border of light. Shall we draw back or shall we cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother and my sister, or cross over? This is the hour of change, and within it we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or shall we cross over? Baruch atah Adonai HaMa'ariv Aravim. Page 151. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol, all of these things your Torah gives to us. And the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and the more it gives. What could be a truer token of your abiding love than this holiest of your works and the living language that gives it form? Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. We rise together for Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Leolam Vaed.
Please be seated.
We are continuing on page 154.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
And once the Israelites crossed the Sea of Reeds, they crossed the sea of reeds in celebration, in song, in joy, and in harmony, with these special words of Micha Mocha to a special melody for Pesach, page 158.
And we're continuing on page 160.
Ashkivenu, Adonai, Eloheinu, Leshalom, Leshalom. Ashkivenu, Ashkivenu, Adonai, Eloheinu, Leshalom. Ve'hamidenu shomrenu lechaim, uleshalom, uleshalom. Ashkivenu, Ashkivenu, Adonai, Eloheinu, Leshalom. Ufros aleinu, Sukkot Shlomecha. Ashkivenu, shalom me'ata ve'ad olam. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Aleinu sukat shlomecha. Ashkiveinu, Ashkiveinu, Adonai, Eloheinu, Lishalom, Lishalom, Ashkiveinu, Ashkiveinu, Adonai, Eloheinu, Lishalom.
Vishamru can be found on page 162, a song that celebrates the Shabbat.
Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם, ברית עולם ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת שבת ויהי נפש, שבת שבת ויהי נפש, שבת שבת ויהי נפש, שבת שבת ויהי נפש.
We connect ourselves to generations past, linking ourselves to those who came before us, declaring God's mightiness and maybe the strengths that we have within, and pray for peace. With words of the Amidah, we rise together, page 164.
Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Yalalai, lalai, 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 yalalai, lalai. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, ve'Konei HaKol, ve'Zocher Chasdei Avot, ve'Imahot, Umevi Geula Livnei Vnehem, Lema'an Shemo be'ahava, Melech Ozer u'Moshia u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, ve'ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayei hakol atah, Rav lehoshia, Mechakel chayim bechesed, Mechayei hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim ve'rofeh cholim, Umatir asurim, Umekayem emunato lishenei afar. Micha mocha ba'al gevurot, umidomelach, melech memit umechayeh, umatzmiach Yeshua, v'ne'eman atal hachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, mechayeh hakol.
Please be seated. We're going to continue with a reading at the top of page 171. Days pass and the years vanish, and we walk sightless among miracles. God, fill our eyes with seeing and our minds with knowing. Let there be moments when your presence, like lightning, illumines the darkness in which we walk. Help us to see wherever we gaze that the bush burns unconsumed. And we, clay touched by God, will reach out for holiness and exclaim in wonder, how filled with awe is this place, and we did not know it. Baruch atah Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh. Page 173. The meaning of Shabbat is to celebrate time rather than space. 6 days a week we live under the tyranny of things in space, and on Shabbat we try to become attuned to holiness and time. It is a day on which we are called upon to share in what is eternal in time, to turn from the results of creation to the mystery of creation, from the world of creation to the creation of the world. Page 177. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth which day by day sustains us. For all of these and more, we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulcha na'el lehodot. We continue on the next page with Shalom Rav.
Shalom Rav, Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav, Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Ki ata hu melech adon, lecho hashalom. Ki ata hu melech adon,
We take a moment and pause for silent meditation and reflection.
We're continuing on page 371.
Misheberach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen.
Our thoughts turn to those loved ones in need of healing, of body, of mind, of spirit. May our voices be heard and give them a sense of comfort and strength. As a congregation, we think of Richard Kennemer, Jack Long, Don Gringorton, Gary Bronstein, Joan Picken, Newt Westergren, Bruce Roberts, Stuart Mass, June Chapman, Mira Engel, Joyce Cordy, Ann Sharon, Gail Frankel, Dave Stahl, Richard Ravitch, former member of Shir Hadash, Lauren Janovich, cousin of Joyce Bodik, Per Nystrom, son of Laura Sternberg, Fern Baer, sister of Cindy Gordon, Michael Taub, brother of Howard Taub, Lillian Sidlow, mother of Beth Sidlow Mann and mother-in-law of Andrew Mann, and Alfonso Inguez, cousin-in-law of Gloria Chavez. If there are those who you would like to add in our prayer for healing, I invite you to rise and say their names at this time. Baruch atah Adonai rofei et hakol, blessed are you, Adonai, who brings forth healing to all who are ill.
Misheberach imotenu Mekor HaBracha Leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shalema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
As we get ready for Pesach, one of the things that we do on Chagim is we recite Hallel. Hallel means praises. And we choose, they have Psalms, it's usually 113 through 118 that we do during Hallel. And the next song, which you can find on page 565 in the indented part of the English or Hebrew, Min HaMitzar, one of the psalms that we sing during Hallel.
Min hametzar karatia ani v'mechaviamin hametzar karatia anani v'merchavia.
We'll try that again.
Min hametzar karatia ay anani v'merchavia min hametzar karatia anani v'merchavia. Adonai li lo ira, ma yaseh, yaseh li adam. Adonai li lo ira, oh ma yaseh li adam. Adonai li lo ira, ma yaseh, yaseh li adam. Adonai li lo ira, oh ma yaseh li adam. Min hametzar karatia ay anani v'mechavia min hametzar karatia anani v'merchavia. Min hametzar karatia ay anani v'mechavia min hametzar karatia anani v'merchavia.
This just in. Pesach is next week. There's so much to do and so little time in which to do it. There's a house to clean. There's meals to prepare and people to invite to the Seder. And there's so much that rides on this meal. We may even feel that we are being judged not only by our family and our friends, but by the countless generations of the boobies and zadies who are looking down from above and sniffing your brisket, saying, less salt and a few more onions. But how much time do we take in preparing for Passover? Now, I don't just mean cleaning out our cupboards and preparing all the food that is way too heavy, but with all of the preparation and with all of the fuss, we sometimes forget what this holiday is about. Sure, we know that Passover is all about the Exodus. We know that the youngest child is supposed to say, Ma nishtana, and we know that we recite the 10 plagues and we say, Dayenu, enough. Too often, though, Passover turns into a glorified family gathering rather than an exploration of the values that shape who we are. Not that there's anything wrong with family, and family is a really good thing, of course. But when we're so busy cleaning and cooking and preparing, we can lose the essence of this holiday. So with that in mind, I want to suggest 5 ways in which we can prepare for Passover just by opening the Haggadah. Number 1, Shehechianu. Thank you for letting us reach this day. One of the very, very first things that we do at a Seder is sanctify the day with a blessing over wine and Kiddush. And then we say Shehechianu. I love this blessing. It's one of my favorite blessings. Because beyond telling the story of the Exodus, we pause on the Seder night to say thank you. We have reached a very important moment in our lives, and we mark special moments in the year that has passed. Sometimes when I am teaching, I begin my classes by asking my students if they've had a Shehechianu moment during the past week, a unique moment worthy of thanksgiving. So as we begin the Seder, why not ask the people around the table what reason they have to recite Shehechianu this year? The birth of a child, a graduation, a new job. Maybe you've done something that you've never done before. Maybe you've ran a marathon, you've learned something new, made a new friend. So before the Seder begins, stop and catch up with the people around the table. Bring people together with those shared memories. Number 2, in every generation, a person should try to envision themselves as if they personally experienced the Exodus from Egypt. Now, in Cantor's Shabbat message this week, she beautifully talked about how even today we must envision ourselves as part of the Exodus story. But the Seder is more than just a story. It's about coming to recognize that we are part of the stories that we tell. We have all experienced our own personal wanderings in the deserts, enslaved by emotions, challenges, and fears, hoping to discover awe and wonder on our way. But to envision ourselves as part of the Exodus story is not just about our connection with bondage, but our connection to freedom, our connection to community, our connection to the idea that we are truly never alone. And number 3, Ma nishtana. Why is this night different from all other nights? Passover is a holiday that serves as a reminder that Judaism is, in fact, a religion of questioning. Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel teaches that we are closer to God when we are asking questions than when we think we have the answers. Because our questions lead us to a greater awareness of ourselves, a greater understanding of others. They challenge us to explore the unknown and the mystery of our lives, and they help us look at the world through a prism that radiates different vantage points. Number 4, Avadim Chayinu, we were slaves to Pharaoh in Egypt. When we truly see ourselves as having been slaves in Egypt, we can imagine a world where we were the ones born into slavery, into oppression. It changes who we are and how we approach the world. Having once been slaves in Egypt, in Babylon, in Spain, in Europe, our values have changed. Our politics are changed, and our obligations to those around us are changed. In the words of Noam Zion, 3 elements converge on Seder night: the commandment to recount the story of the Exodus from Egypt, the commandment to pose questions about the existent order, and the goal of education towards freedom. So may we take this opportunity to educate our world, our community, and ourselves to freedom. And number 5, Dayenu. It would have been enough. Now, the liturgical poem Dayenu holds such an important place in the Passover Seder. It's framed by the rhetorical question, how much goodness has God given us? Dayenu parses Jewish history from being taken out of Egypt through the building of the temple, pausing at different stages along the way to express gratitude for God's goodness. In this way, Dayenu models the practice of expressing gratitude throughout the journey and not just at the destination. Typically, we say something is enough when we've reached a certain threshold. Only then do we express our gratitude. But Dayenu reminds us that contentment is a moving target, and that we would be well served to decouple it from gratitude. So even when we're considering the blessing, who has not made me a slave, we have an opportunity to give gratitude for all of the steps along the way, all of the steps that helped us become more free. So friends, as we begin our preparations for Passover, let us be reminded that this is a holiday of hope, a holiday in which we can be reminded of our blessings and our collective stories. This is a holiday of possibility, a holiday in which we can ask questions and perhaps not find all the answers and acknowledge the freedoms that we have. And this is a holiday of thanksgiving, a holiday of gratitude, to make haste in saying thanks for just having the opportunity to make change, independent of what happens when and if we do. So Shabbat Shalom. May all of our Seders be filled with love, happiness, and joy. Can you hear Ratzon? May it ever be so.
Our service is going to continue with the Aleinu, which is found on page 587. We rise as the ark is opened. That was page 587.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שהוא שם חלקנו לאחד את שמו, וגור עלינו להמליך מלכותו, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
You may be seated. We're continuing on page 591.
ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד. אחד ושמו אחד. אחד ושמו אחד.
The meditation before Kaddish can be found on page 594, and Kaddish can be found on page 598. It is a fearful thing to love what death can touch. A fearful thing to love, hope, dream, to be, and oh, to lose. A thing for fools this, and a holy thing to love. For your life has lived in me, your laugh once lifted me, your word was gift to me. To remember this brings a painful joy. 'Tis a human thing, love, a holy thing to love what death has touched. On this Shabbat, our congregation offers its condolences to Peggy Spool on the death of her father, David Molstad. We also remember those loved ones whom death has recently taken from us. Richard Kipperman, Leslie Phillips, Judy Kalmus, Leo Feingold, Israel Gantz, Ron Wolk, Marianne Riley, Adina Neer, Tamara Noten, Mimi Levy, James C. Price, Colette Kaplowitz, Rita Smith, David Corman, J. Guadalupe Chavez, Dr. David K. Burke, Elizabeth Ludwig, Bernard Kennis, Charles Stone, Rima Zaratsky, Leonard Popowitz, Mark Elliott, Esther Young-Wedner, Marjorie Hart, Roseanne Lewitt, Morton J. Friedberg, Estelle Levine, Larry Lisenby, and Mark Franklin. We also add those names who passed away this season in years past: Maury Albin, Phyllis Bale, Mary Alice Forster, Theodore Alpert, Ron Meyer, Jeanette Barrett, Louis Cohen, Richard Siegel, Tsira Ginsburg, Dmitry Levitsky, Rita Lube, Ella Goldberg, Harvey Schwartz, Karen Klein, and William Bohm. If you would like to add the name of someone who passed away recently or whose yahrzeit falls on this Shabbat or during this time of year, I invite you to rise and do so at this time. Zichronam Livracha, may the memories of each and every person we have named aloud and within our hearts be for an enduring blessing. Supporting those who mourn and supporting the memories of the martyrs of our people, we rise together for Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, be'alma divra hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayachon u'vyomechon u'vchaye dechol beit Yisrael, b'agala u'vizman kari v'imru amen. Yehei shemei rabbah mevarach le'olam olamei amaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudashah b'richu. Le'ala min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechamata damiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav, hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn, and may the source of comfort send comfort to all who are bereaved. And we say together, amen. Please be seated. I'd like to invite up our member of our board, Liz Morale, to share with us some announcements.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Quick reminder for all in-person events: unvaccinated or partially vaccinated individuals must always wear a mask, and fully vaccinated individuals are strongly encouraged to mask but may enter the sanctuary building without a mask. For this week, Kulanu Learning, Kulanu Hebrew Sunday, JET, Kulanu Hebrew Tuesday, and Confirmation are not in session. Tomorrow, Saturday, April 9th, we have Torah study via Zoom at 9 o'clock in the morning with Andrea Kibble. And we have the Bar Mitzvah of Andrew Vinkier in the sanctuary and live stream at 10:30 a.m. with Rabbi Schwartz and Cantor Felder Levy. On Sunday, April 10th, we have 3 events. The first is a seminar at 9 o'clock in the morning over Zoom called Innovation and Inclusion, the Rabbi's Remaking of Passover. With the destruction of the Jerusalem temple, the early rabbis created a new home-based ritual, the Passover Seder. Join Rabbi Schwartz as we view a recent session on this topic. We will take time for reflection and discussion following the session. Please register online for the Zoom link. Second, we have the Shir Hadash Women's Seder at 2 p.m. It's been several years since we've come together as women to celebrate the role that women play in the Passover story. Join with our sisterhood, women of Shir Hadash, as we reconnect and rejoice in being able to be with one another again. Please register online. And third, we have the Hygiene Kit Assembly at the Shir Hadash patio at 2 o'clock. Here's another Mitzvah Day opportunity. Unite with Jews, Christians, and Muslims to assemble hygiene kits for unhoused neighbors to keep themselves and others healthy. The event will be outdoors and socially distanced. Please go to the temple calendar for more information and to register. Tuesday, April 12th, there's a Lunch and Learn session over Zoom at 11:30. This month, join us for a virtual presentation from the New York Historical Society on Catherine Meyer Graham, who led the Washington Post and presided over the paper as it reported on the Watergate scandal. Register online for the Zoom link. On Friday, April 15th, Erev Passover, there will be no Shabbat service. Temple offices will be closed at 2 p.m. On Saturday, April 16th, the Festival of Passover morning service will be both in the sanctuary and live-streamed at 10:30 in the morning. Celebrate the Shabbat of Pesach as a community with services led by Rabbi P.J. Schwartz and Cantor Deborah Felder-Levy. Congregational Passover Seder, both in the sanctuary and live stream, will be at 5 p.m. Join us to celebrate the second night of Passover with a family-friendly Seder. RSVP as soon as possible to ensure there is enough food for everyone. In-person attendance is limited to 100 people, but our Seder will also be live-streamed. Please register online. On Thursday, April 21st, there's a women's study group at 10:30 in the morning over Zoom with Cantor Felder-Levy. This month's topic is creative growth. Music is one vehicle in which we can find creative growth. Join us utilizing the Psalms of Hallel, the theme of Hesed, kindness, for the counting of the Omer, stories and music, and we will look into creating an understanding of what it means to experience growth and how we can continue to foster it in our lives. Please register online. And Friday, April 22nd, Passover Yizkor and Healing Service will be in the sanctuary and live-streamed at 6:30 p.m. The seventh day of Pesach will conclude with our Healing and Yizkor service, led by Rabbi Gottlieb, Cantor Felder-Levy, and Mark Allen. It will be followed by our Shabbat service at 7:30 p.m. Thank you. Shabbat Shalom.
So, Rabbi, can you give me an adjective, if I can turn this on? Can you give me an adjective that will describe our Pesach Seder?
Meaningful?
Our Pesach Seder is going to be meaningful, and that's a little hint of what we're going to be doing in our Pesach Seder.
I totally just got that. What are you doing? I think, yeah, I got nothing. I got nothing.
Okay, our closing song is Bechol Dor Vador, those words that Rabbi Schwartz spoke earlier this evening. In every
That's what I talked
generation,
about.
each of us must see ourselves as if we too came out of Egypt. And you can find those words on page 665. I don't get them too often. This is pretty good. Please rise and join us.
בכל דור ודור חייב האדם לראות את עצמו כאילו בכל דור ודור חייב האדם לראות את עצמו כאילו יצאנו כאילו יצאנו ממצרים כאילו יצאנו ממצרים בכל דור ודור חייב האדם לראות את עצמו כאילו בכל דור ודור חייב האדם לראות את עצמו כאילו יצאנו ממצרים, כאילו יצאנו ממצרים.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
I'd like to invite up Chris to join us on the beam for Kiddush. And then we have our Oneg Shabbat in our Oneg room, our social hall, with a lot of delicious sweets.
And you have to help us eat them because it's almost Pesach, so we have to get rid of all the chametz.
All of them.
So it gives you an excuse for extra treats tonight.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon הנחילנו זיכרון למעשה וראשית כי הוא יום תחילה למקרא קודש זכר ליציאת מצרים כי באנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים בשבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. לחיים.
You can take a sip. It's juice.
I think that's a different possibility. We trying to gather in the motzi. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'tei avon. B'tei avon basically means bon appetit. So we invite you into the owning room to go in and have something sweet to eat.
You did great.